Okay, we're going to continue with the 2018 end of year paper 2. Question 6a, we are supposed to find the area of the shaded regions. And we see that these shaded regions, they are actually made of 3 triangles. So we know that the formula for the area of a triangle is equal to half times the base times the height. So in this case, we notice that all 3 triangles, they share the same vertical height of 7.2 cm, and this vertical height of 7.2 cm corresponds to this particular base, this base, and this base. So 3 bases for the 3 triangles, all having the same perpendicular height of 7.2 cm. So now the issue is, we don't know any of these bases, and yet we are supposed to be able to calculate the total area of these 3 triangles. So let us call each of these base, let's give each of this base a letter to represent its length. So let's call this x, y, and z. So the area of the first triangle over here, which has a base of x, will have an area of half times the base x multiplied by the height of 7.2. For the next triangle, the middle triangle, it has a base of y. So half times y times the same height again, which is 7.2. And the last triangle has a base of z, so half times z times 7.2. So we know that this is the total area. But how are we supposed to find out this value if I do not know x, I do not know y, and I do not know z? So if we examine closely this expression that we have, we see that there are common factors. The common factor is half. It exists in all 3 terms. Another common factor will be 7.2, because these are the common heights. So when you factorize out half, then you ignore all the rest of the halves, and we factorize out 7.2. Then you open the bracket, we're left with x, put it down, plus, put it down, y, plus z, and close bracket. So now our original expression for the 3 different triangles is reduced, or rather is factorized to become half times 7.2, which we can work out really easily, multiplied by x plus y plus z. And we still have a problem over here because we do not know the exact value of x, I don't know the value of y, and I don't know the value of z. However, if you look back at the diagram, ABCD is a parallelogram, which means that opposite sides have the same length. Therefore, x plus y plus z has to be 15.6 cm. So now, without knowing the exact value of x, y, and z, I do know that their sum is 15.6, and that is how we are able to arrive at the final answer. Now in part B, we have to find the area of the shaded cross section, and they actually helped us by asking us to show that it is 321.82 cm. So if you are able to eventually arrive at 321.82 cm, you have a high likelihood of obtaining the full 2 marks. So why is it that some questions ask us to show a certain answer? Why not just ask us to find the cross-sectional area? Because in the second part, where you are given another question, it is likely that you will require this value to solve the next part. Okay, so let's work on the first one first. Now this shaded region is clearly a trapezium minus away a semicircle. So we need to know the formula for the area of a trapezium. It is given by half times the sum of parallel sides multiplied by the perpendicular height. So for a trapezium, it is easy for us to identify the parallel sides. So in this case, it will be AD and BC. So that will be half multiplied by the sum of the parallel sides, 45 plus 21. Then the challenge is, where is the perpendicular height? Because in this particular trapezium, I've got three different numbers which appear to be height. We've got 17 cm over here, we've got 15 cm, and we've got 22 cm. They all appear to be some sort of height for the trapezium. But if you look closely at the formula, it says multiplied by the perpendicular height. So which of these circled numbers represents the perpendicular height? The perpendicular height will be AF. This distance AF is the shortest distance between the two parallel sides. It is also known as the perpendicular height because it makes a 90 degree. It is a right angle with both of the parallel lines. That is why we choose 15 to be the perpendicular height. You look at this length of 17. It does not form, this length over here does not form a 90 degree with the parallel lines. Likewise, this 22 cm does not form 90 degrees with the parallel lines. That's why they are out. So the area of a trapezium 495 cm, then we need the area of the semicircle. So area of circle equals to pi r square. So for half a circle, it must be half pi r square. Now r will be the radius. That will be 21 over 2. So pi r 21 over 2, we square it, we divide it by 2. So the area of the cross section, you take the subtraction, take the difference, and we prove it. They ask you to show, so at the end you write shown. So now, given that the length of the prism is 35 cm, where is the prism? This is the cross section. Okay, so if we were to cut the prism, we will always get a uniform cross section that looks like this shaded figure. So if I were to draw in the rest of the prism, this is given to be 35 cm. This is the length of the prism. Of 35 cm. So this is the lowest point of the semicircle. So to find the total surface area, you have to spell this out. It is always given by 2 times of the cross section area plus, okay, before I add on, so the cross sectional area is given to be this. They ask you to show it. So if you did not manage to show this in part 1, you can use this value and put it into your formula. This is the cross sectional area. 2 times of the cross sectional area. Where are they? Well, the first one is this shaded figure, and the second cross-sectional area will be at the back. You see that it is the same shape, a trapezium, minus away the semicircle. So there are 2 of them. That's why we multiply by 2. Then we still need to add the lateral faces. Where are the lateral faces? So going back to the diagram, lateral faces are here. One flat side. Okay, then we've got the other flat surface. That is another rectangle. We've got another one at the base, at the bottom, which is another rectangle. We've got 3 of them so far already. And we finally have the curve. This curve surface area. So there are 4 other faces that we have to include. To do so, to find out what these values are, there are two ways we can do it. The first is to add them up one by one. Okay, so let me just draw in the rest. Okay, so the first lateral face over here, we said that this is a rectangle. It is given by, its area will be 35 multiplied by 22. Okay, 35 multiplied by 22. I'll just put it at the side. Lateral faces. Area of the lateral faces will be 35 multiplied by 22. So that's the one over here, and we said that there's one at the bottom. Okay, so at the bottom, it is again another rectangle, plus 45 multiplied by 35. Okay, so let's put it as 35 multiplied by 45. Now that's the bottom already. We've got, another side. This will be 35 cm over here, multiplied by 17. So 35 and 17. We've got one last one, the curved surface. Okay, if you were to pull out, okay, let's shade this first. So this is a curved surface. If you were to flatten it, you will get another rectangle. A rectangle with this length of 35 cm multiplied by this curved distance. So it's 35 multiplied by the curved distance will be half of the circumference, pi times d, where d is the diameter of 21. Okay, so now we need to add the two lateral faces, the two cross-sectional areas to this over here. Sounds like a lot of work, a lot of calculations to be done, but you should notice that we are always multiplying by 35. Why 35? Because the length of the prism is 35, which means that we could have simplified our working to just be equal to 35 multiplied by 22 plus 45 plus 17 plus half pi 21. This is known as factorization. We factorize out 35. We are left with 22 plus 45 plus 17 plus half times pi times 21. So what exactly is this 22 plus 45 plus 17 plus half pi 21? Let's trace out what we did to get those. Okay, so the first 22 came from here. Next 45, 17, and half pi 21. Do you see that the area of the lateral faces is given by our 35 cm over here multiplied by the perimeter of the cross-sectional area? Okay, so that is what we are going to be doing. So 2 times cross-sectional area plus perimeter of cross-sectional area times 35. So that is what is done over here. 2 times of the cross-sectional area, which we found in part 1, multiplied by, added to the perimeter, 17, 45, 22, half pi 21, multiplied by 35. So because we had pi involved over here, this is irrational. Our final answer, not exact. Therefore, you round off to 3SF. Compare that to part 1. Let's we also have in part 1 a pi. So this answer is also not exact. That is why there is a rounding off to give us 321.82. Next, part 3. So they tell us that the area, the total surface area, is to be colored with poster colors. The ink is sold in 25 milliliter. 1 milliliter covers 100 square centimeters. How many bottles do you need? So definitely we require the surface area, the total surface area of the prism. So in the previous part, the three significant figures, 4740, we should use the 5SF value, 4738.18. 4738.18. 4738.18. Okay, so now one bottle can cover 2500 square centimeters, because 1 milliliter, 1 ml covers 100 square centimeters. One bottle, which is 25 ml, so with 25 times 100 to give us this area. So if I need to cover 4738.18 square centimeters, we will need to divide it by 2500 to arrive at 1.90 bottles. I need one bottle plus 0.9 of a bottle. So we need to buy two bottles. Okay. Now, what if the question, after calculation, shows that the area, instead of 4738.18, it is something else. So number of bottles required equals to some other number divided by 2500, and we arrive at a number, let's say 1.028 bottles. So what is the number of bottles required in this case? Should we round it off to 1 because it is very close to 1, or should we round it off to 2? So you have to understand the question. 1.028 bottles are required. That means we need one full bottle plus a little bit of another bottle, 0.28 bottle. So this tells us that I need to buy two bottles. So from here you round this off to become 2. Or instead of rounding off to become 2, since we require 1.028, we conclude that we need 2 bottles. Okay, although it is very close to 1, and normally you would have rounded down. So important over here to know how to decide what the number of bottles to buy is. So now the solid prism is melted and recast. So melted, instead of this shape that we had, we're going to melt it. Okay, so it's going to become liquid. Now when you change the state from solid to liquid, there is no change in volume. Okay, it's like you you buy a bottle of Coke, you put it in the freezer, you get the Coke that is frozen, but the volume remains the same. So if it is 500 ml over here, it still remains at 500 ml, no change. Likewise for the other way. Okay, so whenever you see melted, recast, what goes through your mind must be volume constant. So now it becomes a cylindrical block of metal, a cylindrical. So this becomes this. Okay, it is a cylinder, and the base circumference is 22. Circumference 22.6. So they ask you for the height. Now, we are going to make use of constant volume, yeah? So from part, have we found the volume? No, we haven't found the volume. Okay, so we need to find the volume of the prism. Volume equals to, we're going to make use of the same base area again, 321.82 times 35, because the length over here, 35 cm. Okay, take cross-sectional area times 35. So the volume of prism is always given by area of cross-section times the length. So in this case, this is the uniform length of 35. You get this volume, which means that this volume is the volume of the cylinder. Same. Now, to find the height, please do not work backwards in your mind to straight away say you want to find the height equals to, or the volume 11263.7 divided by so on and so forth. You're working in your mind to straight away find the height, but no, we don't need you to do that. In fact, this will make you very prone to careless mistakes. What you should be doing is to write down what you know for the volume of the cylinder. So the volume of the cylinder, again, base area, pi r squared, because the base is a circle. So this is the cross-sectional area, it's a circle, times the perpendicular length. In this case, it will be the height, which we want to find out. So let us find out the radius first, because in order to find the volume, in order to find the height, I've already got the volume, I must find the radius. And they gave us the circumference, which is 22.6, which has to be equal to 2 pi r, because that is the formula for the circumference of a circle. So from here, we find the radius. Divide by 2 pi on both sides, because we don't want the 2 pi, we only want r. So that results in 11.3 over pi. Now we have an expression for r already. And remember our earlier problem, we wanted to find the value of r. So put that in here. And we put down the volume of the cylinder. So volume of the cylinder is given by pi, copy down, and then we have the radius, which we found to be 11.3 over pi, and we have to square it, and we put h. So now we have an expression for the volume that is related to our unknown here. So I want to find this value of h. I don't want anything else. I need to get rid of this pi. How do I do so? I divide by pi. I want to get rid of 11.3 over pi square, and I divide by all these. So you do the division carefully, and you will arrive at 277 cm for the height. Okay, now 7a, the price of a TV, 1299 inclusive. So it includes 7% GST, which means that this value refers to 107%, represents 1299. Okay, because the GST is always on top of the original price. So find the amount of GST levied on it. So since 107% represents 1299, 7%, which is the GST, will represent 1299 over 107 times 7. So we get 84.98. Okay, this will be in 2dp because we are dealing with money. So this is the other way of presenting it. So here I'll be telling you about the common mistake. The common mistake in red will be saying that GST is 7% of 1299. So you get 7 over 100 times 1299. Which is 90.93. You can see clearly that these two are not the same. They are not equal. This is wrong. Okay? Why did this happen? Because in this particular working, you are assuming that 100% represents 1299, which is wrong. It is supposed to be 107% because GST is already included in here. It includes the GST of 7%. So the total 1299 is actually 107%. So Raj bought the television with a loan, so it doesn't pay in full. Since you're not paying in full, the company will charge an extra R% of interest. So monthly installments of 56.8 were made for 2 years to repay the loan. So find the value of R. What is the interest? Now, how much did he pay altogether? So 56.8 over 2 years of 12 months each. This is the total that he is paying. Compare that with the original price of 1299. He paid more. How much more? He paid an extra $64.20 more. This is known as the interest over 2 years. Okay, so the interest per year will be 64 divided by 2. You get $32.10. So this is the interest per year. Why is he paying this amount of extra money? Because he did not have the full amount of 1299 at the start. That's why he's charged this interest. So we also know the formula: interest equals to the principal times the rate times the time. Okay, so this will be the year, this will be the actual interest, this is the loan or the principal, and this is actually what we want to find out. Okay, so we're going to substitute in what we have already known. So the interest of 32.10, the loan of 1299, multiplied, this is an equal sign, times the rate of R over 100, okay, multiplied by the number of years. So this 32.10 is over 1 year, so we multiply it by 1. Therefore, R will have a value of 32.10 divided by 1299 over 100. To give us 2.4711. So round it off to 3SF, 2.47. Take note that there is no percentage over here. Okay? Because if you attach a percentage to 2.47, if you say that R is equal to 2.47%, then you're saying that R percent is 2.47%, which totally doesn't make sense. So look at the question. It was given to be R percent. So R itself, we expect it to be just 2.47. Okay? Now, if we did not divide it by 2, if we skipped this step, can we still apply the formula over here? The answer is yes. So the interest will be 64.20. The principal, which is the loan, doesn't change. The rate, we still do not know, multiplied by the number of years, 2. So the value of R will be 64.20 divided by 2. That's how we get our $32.10, and we further divide it by 1299 over 100, and we still get the same answer of 2.47. Okay, final question. Two tickets, the theme park tickets. Okay, so an adult has to pay 12, a child has to pay 8. Prices are before discount. Okay, this is the original price. So there are different ways of paying or making a payment. You can purchase the tickets online. You save 18%. Sounds like a good deal. Now, if you don't buy it online, you go to the counter. You go to the actual theme park, go to the ticketing counter. You can make payment. Of course you can. So there's a promotion. Oh, if you have a family care card, then you enjoy 15% off the adult admission ticket. Oh, but there's a catch. 1st November to 30th November only. What if you don't have this card? What if you have the family gold card? There is 25% off the child admission ticket. Wow, sounds better. 25% off the child. Oh, but if you look at the previous one, it's 15% off the adult. Okay, so we will need to do some calculations, and this is only applicable from 20th October to 20th November. Okay, so quite a bit of information over here, and I think we can understand all of them. So it's a question of deciding which is the better deal. So we've got a family of 2 adults, 2 children. They want to go on 10 November. Okay, let's see whether all the promotions are applicable. 10 November. This is from 1st to 30th November. Okay, we can choose this. This is from 20th October to 20th November. Yes, this is applicable also. So no dates given. This is also applicable. Okay, cool. We need to consider so many things. We need to consider 3 different options. So if they buy upon arrival, which card should they use? Okay, so we're not interested in paying online already. Explain your answer with working shown clearly. Don't be afraid of this question. You treat it as though it is happening to you. You have to save the most money. You want to get the best deal. So you will be calculating, oh, if I have the family care card, using the family care card, how much will you be paying? There is 15% off the adult admission ticket. So instead of paying $12, we have 15% off for both adults. So the amount to pay will be, for 2 adults, 85%, because after you remove 15%, you're left with 85%, multiplied by the original adult price of 12. And there are 2 children tickets to be added. So we get a total of $36.40. Not difficult. Next, if we don't use the family care card, if we use the family gold card, 25% off the child admission. So the adults have to pay in full. So 2 times of the adult tickets. Now since there is 25% off one child, we are left with 75% times the original child price of 8, and we multiply that by 2 children, we get $36. So if we want to pay upon arrival, comparing these, definitely 36 is cheaper. They should use the family gold card to get a better discount. Or you can say, because they asked about a better discount, so yes, family gold card, better discount. Next, for part 2, should they purchase the tickets online? Now the tickets, if you buy them online, it will be 18% off. So for the online purchase, the amount that you have to pay will be, this is our 82%. How do we get 82%? We used 100% minus 18% to give us 82%. So the full price of the child, full price of the adult, full price for the child, and we find that we will have to pay $32.80 if you buy it online, which is even better than walking in to buy them physically. So definitely yes, they should buy the tickets, but why? You have to explain, because the total amount of $32.80 is lower than both options when you buy online of 36.4 and 36.